You're watching TimesXP. I'm Driti Atri, and here are the biggest stories that are making headlines across the globe today. So, let's start with it. Tehran remembers 1979 with fresh rage. On the anniversary of the United States Embassy takeover, Tehran's streets again exploded with massive anti-US and anti-Israel energy, reminding the entire world that Iran never forgave Washington. It wasn't history class, by the way, it looked like a fresh anger. Iran, well, they wanted to show the old fire is still alive. Trump and Netanyahu burned in symbolic show. That's right, Trump and Netanyahu's photos, they were burnt in huge crowd, and Iranians showcased their fake nuclear devices in parade. This was symbolic theater. Message was clear. Look what we are capable of building, and look what we are willing to destroy. Iran declares we never surrender. Iran told the world that they won't surrender to sanctions or any kind of threat. Instead of fear, they celebrated resistance. Tehran wants Washington to understand that Iran does not bend, Iran retaliates. Sanction failed because Iran has new giants. Iran claimed that the US sanctions totally failed because Iran now has alternative economic support from China, Russia, and India. Tehran says that the world is multipolar, not America's playground anymore, and Iran is now protected by other giants. Khamenei, we outlasted America. Khamenei said that the US strategy is very simple: break Iran's spine, but Iran survived 45 years of pressure. He says survival is a victory. He believes that time has now flipped power in Iran's favor. Iran will keep enriching with or without permission. Iran said openly that it will continue nuclear progress without waiting for the US approval. Iran says that it don't need permission to protect itself. In fact, defiance itself is now Iran's shield. US nuclear sabotage failed to stop Iran. US covert attack on Iran's nuclear facilities earlier killed hundreds and damaged the labs. But Iran rebuilt fast. They are telling the world that even America's violent sabotage cannot slow us down permanently. Iran's nuclear clock is now faster. Iran says that nuclear clock is now moving faster than before. And they're not scared because they believe that Russia and China will not allow a US strike on their Iranian soil now. They think that the war map has changed completely. Russia's giant military bird lands in Tehran at night. A huge Russian An-124 plane landed secretly in Tehran. Experts believe that this was not humanitarian cargo. This was strategic payroll. Russia delivered something really big. Suspected S-400 missiles under IRGC guard. Satellite images showed IRGC protecting Russian cargo containers, raising a lot of suspicion that inside there were S-400 missile systems. Those missiles change every single thing. Those missiles are anti-American insurance. S-400 makes airstrikes against Iran nearly impossible now. Now, if Iran gets S-400, America or maybe Israeli jets, they cannot easily bomb Iranian nuclear sites anymore. Iran becomes a hard target, and this is the one thing that Washington fears the most. Russia plus Iran become an ally. That's right, this means Russia plus Iran are entering a dangerous military marriage basically. It's not just politics now. Weapons are binding them together, and every single day this alliance grows more irreversible. Turkey backs away from Russian oil at a time when Turkey started reducing Russian oil imports after the new sanction of the United States hit Rosneft and Lukoil. Ankara does not want to get punished by America now. Now, Turkey is making a survival choice here. Ankara switches to Iraq and Kazakhstan crude. Turkish refineries are immediately switching to Iraqi and Kazakh oil. Turkey is trying to stay in the business without burning its bridge, but this is a major economic pivot. Europe rejects fuel links to Russia. Europe is basically rejecting refined oil made from illegal Russian crude. So, Turkey knows that it must adjust now. Turkey is not resisting the US pressure the way Iran is. Even India slows down Russian import here. Even India paused some Russian crude shipments after the same sanctions. Basically, this proves that sanctions still have teeth. Washington still controls oil maps to some extent. Sanctions still control global oil flow, so even in 2025, the US has the power to reshape the global oil flows with one announcement. The petroleum battlefield is still America's favorite war zone. Old Trump-Gaza plan returns to life. Diplomats are quietly trying to revive Donald Trump's old proposal, an international peace force to control Gaza if Hamas is removed. While the idea is coming back, the world is preparing for a new Gaza model. Islamic countries prepare for Gaza takeover, while countries like Turkey, Qatar, Saudi, Jordan, UAE, Pakistan, Indonesia all negotiating how to take responsibility. This will be a foreign-run Gaza, a completely new era. Foreign force could run Gaza instead of Hamas. If this happens, then the US may achieve Trump's blueprint without an invasion. Foreign troops will run Gaza, not Israel, not Hamas, a global network. Venezuela gets Russia's military shield. Venezuela say that Russia is militarily backing them now, and the US warships near Caribbean are provoking a battlefield. Venezuela is openly flexing now. They have big muscle behind them. Moscow now guards Venezuela's survival. Russian defense help protects Venezuela's skies, oil, and regime stability. Venezuela wants everybody to see right now that they are no longer isolated. They are backed by Moscow. Caribbean turns into Cold War 2.0. Caribbean is turning into a Cold War 2.0. America and Guyana on one side, Russia and Venezuela on the other. The chessboard is moving. Venezuela accuses neighbors of helping the United States. Venezuela accusing Trinidad and Tobago of supporting the United States covert operation. Now this shows how deep mistrust is spreading. Allies are becoming suspects. US drafts plan to strike cartels inside Mexico. The US is drafting Title 50 legal plan to send special forces into Mexico to alienate the cartel bosses. Well, this will redefine the sovereignty. It's risky and it's explosive. Mexico says that this will be invasion. Mexico sees this as invasion, and that can destroy trade, tourism, agriculture, industry ties. Mexico is very angry. Washington is playing with fire. Iraq orders US troops to leave by 2026. Iraq has set a final date. US troops must exit by September 2026. This is the end of US military footprint in Iraq. The chapter is closing. Arab world is leaving the US orbit here. Arab world is shifting. American dominance is shrinking. China plus Russia are entering every vacuum. West Asia center of gravity is moving. Iran sets harsh non-negotiation red line here. Finally, Iran sent a direct threat. No talks with the United States until America abandons Israel and pulls the troops out of the region. This is the hardest red line ever spoken by Tehran. Iran demands US exit region before any talks. That's right. Iran is signaling that the next negotiations will not be about nuclear caps. It will be about ending the US military presence. Iran believes that America must bend now, not Iran. And with that, this is the wrap-up of our 30 news bulletins from around the globe. From Gaza to Venezuela, from Iraq to the US, the world is changing, and so is geopolitics. To keep you informed, we are updating you every single day by 10 p.m. So stay tuned with us on TimesXP with me, Driti Atri.